but we had left him behind when we moved from Boston. A droplet of sweat slid beneath the collar of my shift and then continued between my breasts on its journey to dampen the waistband of my skirt. I might have removed my hat, leaving only the linen coif covering my hairs to shelter me from the sun, but it would not have been modest. Yet perhaps I could admit to just one thing. I would give anything to remove my hat for a moment. Mary paused in her picking to look at me. Anything? Even taking on the week's ironing? Twice in succession? I shrugged. I should never have admitted such a thing. Quietly, softly, she began to hum a hymn. My eyes lifted from the berry canes as I looked at my companions laboring. Like me, they were bent over blueberry canes, their felted hats marking their places. The clothes on all of our backs had been dyed sad colors, shades dark or dull, made duller still by the constant toil required to wrest a township from the savageries of this new world. Please, God, let no one hear. I reached out and grabbed hold of Mary's arm. Touching the felted brim of her hat, her lips curled into a sly smile, and then she began to hum even louder. Beside her, our brother Nathaniel paused in his task. Mary, why do you... Our sister hushed him and then poked him in the ribs with a finger. Sing. But do it. He sighed as if it were beneath him, a great lad of 10 years, to understand the thoughts of a sun-dazed girl. But then he emptied a fistful of berries into his pail, stood, and taking off his hat in deference to the holy words of the hymn, he opened his mouth and began to sing. Immediately, the berry patch sprouted heads, male and female, all of which were swiftly bared as the tune was taken up and the words were sung. O Lord, our God in all the earth, how's thy name wondrous great? Who has thy glorious majesty above the heavens set? And it was wondrous to hear God praised under the canopy of his own sky in the midst of his own creation. And more wondrous still to feel the breeze ruffle through the linen of my head's covering. Beside me, hat clasped in her hand, Mary had closed her eyes in an imitation of pious worship. For a brief moment, I forgot myself and did it as well, and I stored up the memory of the coolness to last me through the rest of the day. As the last word of the hymn forsook us and withered away in the sun, the heads of our townspeople, hidden beneath hats once more, bent toward their work, all but that of the minister. He looked at Nathaniel for one long moment, then finally scratched his beard, shook his head, and returned his attentions to the berries. Mary tossed a blueberry into my pail. Fail not to tend to the ironing, this week and the next. I could have pretended I had not heard her, but I had sinned enough for one day. Oh, what my rebellious thought had wrought! Had I not thought of picking berries uncovered, I would never have mentioned it to my sister. Had she never heard it, she would never have begun humming the hymn. Had she never begun, she would never have pulled Nathaniel into her schemes. My own foolish thought had enticed 2 others into sinning. 2 weeks of ironing was not punishment enough. A babe cried farther down the patch, and my eyes lifted toward the sound. I saw my friend Abigail plant her bottom on top of her pail and take her son up to her breast. Abigail and I had been friends since before our move to Stony Brook, since Boston. A year older than I, she had been an example in our youth of everything I ever wished to be. First in womanhood, first in church membership, first in marriage, and now in motherhood as well. I had not talked with her in weeks. I had seen her, of course, on the Sabbath at meeting, but her attention was devoted to her babe, to her husband, and to her home. In fact, there seemed a dearth of maids in town. All of my friends were now married. Several of them were with child, the others with a babe in their arms. I wanted nothing more than to join their ranks. That I was not of their station was not a thing of my own choosing.